and welcome to California Bountiful. I'm your host, Aubrey Aquino, and for this episode, we're coming to you from the Inn at Park Winters in Winters, California. Many couples opt for an outdoor ceremony for exchanging vows, just like here at this country estate. But did you know there's an emerging ag-related trend for weddings and couples on their big day?
Wine weddings are the trend for 2023 and beyond. As a way to kind of center a wedding, create a lane for your wedding that will make your decisions and all the stuff that you have to get accomplished so much easier and so stress-free.
Winemaker and lifestyle expert Amy LaBelle is pouring out ideas and inspiration to plan a wine-centric nuptial event for couples to savor their big day.
If you love wine and the wine culture, wine weddings are really the theme to choose for your wedding because wine is timeless, it's elegant, and it's something that will never go out of style. So you'll look back on your photos in 10 years and you will still be in love with your wedding. You won't say, oh, that was a dated trend or something that didn't work. And to weave that theme through your entire wedding, you can, say you love Chardonnay or Champagne. You can choose a color theme that resonates with that wine that you choose. So in the case of Chardonnay, you would say all straw gold colors and greens, things that, that come to mind when you think of a vine or a vineyard. And then you can weave vineyard and wine themes through your ceremony vows. So you can, weave nature and imagery through your vows. You can have a wedding outside in a vineyard if you so choose, or if you're doing a DIY home wedding, no problem. You can make sure you have wine-centric decor for your ceremony. You could do barrels as the altar with gorgeous florals on top. Your florals can be accented with cork. You can do cork decor on all of your tables. You can have wine bottle table decor for your centerpieces. You can use wine bottles as table numbers to guide your guests as to where to sit. And then you can do boutonnieres for the grooms that have a cork as the accent on the bottom. There are millions of ways that you can kind of subtly bring wine into your theme, not only in what you're drinking, but in all of the decor around you.
And she explains a wine-themed wedding can influence everything from the colors and decor to the flowers and invitations, and of course, the menu, from cuisine to cocktails.
You also really want to weave it into your menu. So not just what you're pairing with your food, but rather making sure that wine is a central ingredient in all of the menu items as well. So that you're cooking with wine, you are infusing wine into sauces, or you're braising your proteins in wine, or you are making some, gorgeous desserts with wine. There are always opportunities to infuse wine into your culinary experiences, and I really love to push that envelope all the time. Using wine in your cooking is so important because you can weave whatever you're drinking and enjoying with your meal right into the ingredients of the meal. So it's kind of this seamless, beautiful taste experience. It's another way to showcase the wine, of course. And whether you're cooking or whether you're making cocktails, it's always about layering flavors, right? You're always wanting to bring some kind of new flavor environment, something new and interesting for your palate to enjoy. And wine can do that for you in a cocktail because it's not kind of something you think about when you're making cocktails always. So it's just adding that extra bit of flavor, that extra layer of something special.
Sounds like a perfect pair. Now time for a bountiful beverage.
Hi, I'm Amy LaBelle, winemaker at LaBelle Winery and author of Wine Weddings, something that we love to do at the winery and that I love to create for all of our special weddings at the winery are specialty cocktails based with wine as a main ingredient. So today I want to show you how to make a Cheval Blanc margarita. And today especially we're going to use blood orange because blood oranges are in season right now and they're so beautiful and so delicious. You're going to love the color of this. We're going to start with a good quality tequila. But because we're using wine in this drink, we don't need to use a whole bunch of tequila, just an ounce. And then we're going to do an ounce of orange flavored liqueur, and then 3 ounces of Cheval Blanc or Sauvignon Blanc or any white wine that doesn't have a lot of heavy oaky flavors or a lot of tannins. So something light and crisp and beautiful. And what this does is it gives you kind of a new and interesting flavor to add to your cocktail, but it also reduces the overall alcohol content of this drink, so it makes it a little bit lighter and a little bit easier on your guests if you're having a party or a wedding, something like that. Then we're going to do a triple citrus sour mix. So in this case, we're doing blood orange, lime, and lemon. But you can use any 3 citruses that you love. And in this cocktail, we've got wine in 2 ways. This is a wine syrup, which I made by using some leftover white wine that I had. Not an oaky or tannic white wine, just something light and crisp. I reduced it on the stove with 2 parts wine to 1 part sugar, and it caramelizes into this gorgeous syrup. And if you're gonna sweeten a drink, I like to use something that's got extra flavor in it. So this is a wine syrup, a white wine syrup. This one actually was based in champagne. And then you shake it up. You wanna shake it enough to dilute it, just a little bit, and get it cold. And then we're gonna strain it into a glass with fresh ice in it. And look at the gorgeous color on this drink. I love the pink, it's so fun. And that's your Cheval Blanc Blood Orange Margarita. Enjoy.
Straight ahead, flowers are essential for the big day, and we met a Bay Area farmette who gave us a DIY in arranging her backyard blooms. And next, it's heating up outside, and we're sharing how to keep your garden thriving with a water-wise mindset. California Bountiful is brought to you by the California Farm Bureau.
Sometimes we lose, sometimes we win. Sometimes we try to fit it all in. Sometimes we don't know what's in store. Sometimes we find what we're looking for. Sometimes we're rolling easy and free. Sometimes 1 and 1 makes 3. So much to love along this ride. That's why Nationwide is on your side.
Golden Sky Country Music Festival coming to Sacramento, October 14th and 15th with Eric Church.
All you gotta do is put a drink in my hand.
John Party. Maren Morris. Parker McCullum. And Jordan Davis, Lady Wilson, Winona Judd, and more. Golden Sky Country Music Festival at Discovery Park in downtown Sacramento. Passes starting at $10 down at goldenskyfestival.com.
Enjoy fresh farm-to-fork food every Wednesday at downtown Sacramento's certified farmers market. The farmers market offers locally sourced fruits, vegetables, baked goods, flowers, herbs, and cheeses. Plus, get face-to-face with your food source with the freshest California-grown favorites. Check it out Wednesdays from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Capitol Mall. Then on Thursdays, Bodega Days at Cesar Chavez Plaza. Enjoy a weekly market in downtown Sac with farm-fresh produce, freshly baked bread, locally crafted gifts, artist creations, and more. It's all happening every Thursday from 10 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. Water and how we use it is always important in California, even when it comes to your at-home gardens. So we're getting some water-wise tips.
Hi everyone, I'm Christina with Green Acres Nursery and Supply, and today I am going to show you how to build a beautiful water-wise landscape. So the first thing you're probably wondering is what defines a water-wise plant? Well, water-wise plant basically just means plants that show little to no stress underneath low water conditions. So I created a nice array here, a nice diversity of different plants that have evolved to tolerate lower water or drought conditions. And when people say drought, water-wise, because that's kind of been a buzzword lately, and a lot of counties start to put out more regulations about how much water you can use and whatnot, which is exactly what they should be doing, but it doesn't mean that you stop gardening or you stop planting or that you stop having a beautiful landscape. It just means that you shift to a different type. So I have here different plants, some of my favorites personally, that fall under those conditions and are considered water-wise. The first ones I want to show you here are some of these colorful purple plants. We have some verbenas. These are more low-growing plants, and this scaevola. Oh my gosh, I had this scaevola planted here. I'm in Elk Grove right now, in full sun, which is Sacramento County, and it just thrived under low water conditions. This plant did beautifully. So yeah, that once it's established, and that word can mean a lot of different things, but it really just means established, a year in the ground with the roots really grown in, and that it took moderate water for it to get to that point and now it's established, so it means that now it can tolerate less water. So it's really important that people know that when they're establishing a water-wise garden, that it does take a little bit more water. Some other ones we have here is classic yarrow. Yarrow is actually native to California. Most of the hybrids that we carry are just hybridized off the native that we have here. This is a beautiful moonshine. A lot of people choose it for its brilliant yellow color. That's a really popular one. Another one is lantana. This is a water-wise superstar. It does so well. It definitely takes low water. It also has beautiful colors you can choose from, pinks, oranges, and reds, and it attracts butterflies. We sell so many beautiful agaves. This one's so beautiful because it has a really nice striping here, but these are very water-wise. I definitely would incorporate agaves if you're trying to create a water-wise landscape. And then we have, similar to agaves, we have this yucca here that does really well. And it flowers a couple times a year and has this beautiful flower that attracts hummingbirds, if you're into that. And of course you have your more classic gardening plants like this geranium. After a while, these plants will just be so hardy. Also cold hardy, which is nice too. In this area specifically, as you get higher in the mountains, it starts to suffer a bit more, but this one is a really hardy plant. Also doesn't take very much water after a while. I have this beautiful euphorbia here. There's a lot of different types of euphorbia. This one's Ascot Rainbow and has this nice, gorgeous kind of chartreuse color coming through here. For people who don't like a lot of bees around their garden, some people are allergic to them or don't want too many of them because they have small ones or whatnot. These ones don't tend to attract as many bees. So this one is definitely a great one. And then we have other hardy plants like this echinacea here, really popular summer bloomer, takes full sun. Practices matter so much. When you're establishing a water-wise garden, you want to make sure that you're watering deeply, which means making sure the water goes all the way deep down into the soil to encourage your roots to grow deep, all the way down into the ground. Because that's what helps create a more drought-tolerant plant too, is your water practices. Your irrigation, you have to make sure that's up to date. What it really comes down to is you can still have a beautiful garden that's water-wise, and you shouldn't let that stop you from having something beautiful at your house.
Still to come, a plate that looks almost too pretty to eat, but we're still getting you a taste. But first, turning backyard blooms into beautiful floral arrangements.
Home is where you start the day. Out the door, you're on your way. All the places you wanna go. Maybe you should take it slow. There's so much to care for in your life. That's why Nationwide is on your side.
The California Farm Bureau has protected the diverse agricultural interests in the Golden State for over a century. As part of the California Farm Bureau, you'll add your voice to the combined strength of over 34,000 farmers, ranchers, and families through our state. That means more connections, more influence, and more opportunity to fight for the issues that impact your life. With your support behind us, California Farm Bureau's robust government affairs, federal policy and farm pact, and legal teams work tirelessly to advocate at all levels of government, protecting and promoting our shared way of life. Together, California Farm Bureau and our members are standing up for farmers, ranchers, and families throughout the Golden State every day, working to cultivate a bountiful future for all Californians.
Welcome back. A Bay Area woman is planting with passion and bringing her backyard blooms to life with distinctive DIY style at Turbow Farms.
Today we're going to do a low centerpiece. The tools that we're going to use is good old chicken wire, really nice and simple. You need a good sharp pair of snips that are clean, and we have some floral tape. So how I would normally start is I would take this and we just turn it into a little bit of a dome. Next we're going to start our piece, but we need water. So we'll have Kim go ahead and fill our vessel, and make sure you fill it up pretty much full, maybe about a centimeter to an inch below the top. Perfect. So I'm just gonna lay out our greenery first. We have some lemon eucalyptus and things that we harvested this morning, Aubrey. We've got some chocolate geranium, the rose of attar geranium. We have manzanita. So we have a lot of variety that we can work with today. And then we have our fatsia leaves. But what we want to basically do right now is what I call creating our nest. So I'm just going to go in here and grab a few. And Kim, what I'm going to do is have you pull back and down the leaves. And by doing that, what we do is we create a clean stem that goes into the water, because we don't want a lot of debris, because that's what ends up degrading and not allowing our vessel to last, our piece to last as long. The first thing I'm going to do is, when I place my greenery, I don't like to grab all my greenery and stuff it layered on top of each. I think visually what I like to do is create quadrants, if not maybe thirds, but we've got some different elements today. So what I do is I layer the elements together like so, and then I'm just going to place them in to our piece. And the most important thing right now is making sure that it hits the water. We don't want everything to kind of sit at the same level or length, so I'm going to place some things a little longer than others, just to have that natural feel that we were talking about. We've got the geranium, so we will probably reuse some of these leaves. So maybe we'll pull off 2 more, Kim. And as you can see, structurally, this has a really, really nice upright stem. So I think we might use that for some vertical height.
Okay.
But this, I like how it's naturally just kind of curving downward. And I think I want to put that out front. So I'm just going to trim up the stem a bit because it is a little on the long side. I'm just going to tuck it down and in like that. And so by creating what I would call like these quadrants or zones, when it doesn't look like a mash of things at the end, and that you get the difference in color, but not in too much mass.
I'm excited to know what it's going to look like.
Hopefully it's okay.
I'm sure it'll be beautiful.
We do want to cover up visually that tape eventually. We're starting to build a little bit of shape, as you can see. When I create these pieces, I also want a shape of a V where I draw my eye not exactly into the center, but offset. Because again, I want it to look natural. What I don't want is
Too perfect.
too perfect.
Exactly. Oh, these are so pretty.
Okay. You like my pickle jar?
Yes.
Okay, so as you can see, this tall one has a very, very natural V shape to it. And I'm kind of visually seeing that we have our V shape here, so I'm gonna place that guy in. And then we're gonna take these other doubled helibores like that, and I wanna start creating width. So we're gonna go next with the camellias.
Okay.
Because camellias have that very rigid kind of branch, and we wanna be able to work around them and not try and shove them in later. So
Right.
as you can see.
Now, would you leave all these leaves on?
It depends. It depends how much green you want to see. And I always say leave it on. We can go in and
take it off.
And take it off later. Aubrey, where would you like to see this?
I don't want to mess up your shape.
Nope.
I don't know, something
You're
like
good.
that.
Yeah, we're good. That's actually really good. You're a natural.
I try.
Just judging from what I'm seeing right now, I'm going to start with this one here. And I'm going to come up into here. That's the trick with the narcissus, is that you have to be pre-cut sort of thing for, otherwise you're doomed when you get like over too long.
What other advantages are there for getting them fresh from the garden versus?
I think they last longer because There's next to no refrigeration time. We rest the blooms for at least 3 to 4 hours.
These are like the accessories?
The accessories.
So pretty. So these are some of the ones we picked.
Yes. So it's the grevillea. How fun are these?
They're kind of exotic.
They are. And see how it has a shape like that, Aubrey? I almost, I want it to flow. Feel like this piece is flowing out.
It's amazing how quick it took shape as you started to fill it in.
Yeah, I think honestly a lot of times it's just building your foundation and then you just take off from there. It could be as simple as this.
It's beautiful. Coming up, a real San Francisco treat as we get cooking with the executive chef at Marlena.
Sometimes we lose, sometimes we win. Sometimes we try to fit it all in. Sometimes we don't know what's in store. Sometimes we find what we're looking for. Sometimes we're rolling easy and free. Sometimes 1 and 1 makes 3. So much to love along this ride. That's why Nationwide is on your side.
Are you looking to uncover more of the bounty of California's rich, diverse, and delicious food and wine scene? Then it's time to get social with us. Find even more great content from farm to fork and everything in between, like recipes, behind the scenes, on food and wine tours, plus useful info on what's good for you and so much more. Join an engaging community of like-minded foodies and tell us what great story ideas you have for us too. So what are you waiting for? Get in on the conversation now. Find, follow, and talk to us on social at CA Bountiful. Welcome back. Now it's time to cap off the show with a yummy capelletti from San Francisco's Michelin-starred restaurant, Marlena. San Francisco's Marlena has quickly become a favorite for foodies both near and far.
There's a lot of locals. There's also people that come from LA and say, oh, we just flew here just to eat at your restaurant.
Oh, wow.
And that's really cool too.
Located in Bernal Heights, it's a true neighborhood restaurant, which is also Michelin-starred.
We do a 4-course prefix menu that is based on seasonality and a little bit of technique, of course. And we try to take advantage of the produce that California has to offer. So our menu changes very frequently, sometimes once a week, sometimes once a day. So whatever is in season at that moment is what we try to capitalize on.
And while diners might assume the Michelin rating means a more formal experience, the intention here is to make food accessible, fun, and affordable.
You could say Californian. I think there's a lot of worldly influence in food. So there's French, there's Italian, there's a little bit of Japanese, and then I try to bring it all together, I guess based on my background, which I'm from Buffalo, New York, so I have a little bit of comfort, if you will, but I also strive for a lot of technique and try to use as much skill as I possibly can, and then mix it all with a little bit of simplicity, and then of course, the number one thing will be flavor driven as well as seasonality.
On this day, Chef David had all the seasonal ingredients necessary to whip up his nettle capelletti.
I kind of fell in love with pasta a long time ago. I like the skill of it. I like to use my hands. I'm not the best in the world. I'll be the first to admit that, but I'd like to be at some point.
Right.
So over here we have some cleaned hedgehog mushrooms. These are capers, crispy nettle leaf, some oxalis flour, a little bit of chickweed for some earthiness and a touch of salinity. So I'm going to start by sauteing these hedgehog mushrooms. So this is onion confit.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And our pan's already hot.
Yes. Always got to have those hot pans. Just give these a nice light saute. Add a little bit of salt to start the sweat.
Oh, I can already smell the flavors.
Yeah. really earthy, a little bit of sweetness from the onions. Now we're gonna go down with our pasta. Okay, you can see the mushrooms are starting to break down a little bit. So now I'm gonna deglaze with white wine.
And every ingredient at Marlena is sourced from local farms and foragers.
We work with a lot of farmers throughout California. So we work with Terra Vegetables. So we use their grits, Jackson Estates, Tucker Taylor, who's an amazing farmer, probably my favorite in California. Everything is pristine that comes from him. Full Belly Farm, Star Root. We work with a forager named Brian Jessup, who owns Morchella. He's great. So these garnishes, these sorrel flowers, these chickweeds, asparagus to peas, the wild stuff, it's unmatched. And me, like, I come from New York and there's a lot of good stuff out there too, but it just doesn't hold a candle to what's out here. This looks like a sauce already. Okay, so the wine and the butter are starting to mix a little bit together along with the mushroom liquid. And it's not separated. You don't see like oil spots or small bubbles or anything. This has all come together very, very well.
Nice.
And now I'm gonna add the pasta. A little bit of pasta water to thin it out.
Okay.
This dish is all about seasoning at this point and proper cooking technique. A little lemon juice. I like the brightness of the lemon juice. A little bit of black pepper to finish. I want that nice sauce. Again, not broken, very emulsified. I like a little bit of mystery in my food. So then when the guest receives this, they'll see all the pasta and garnishes and whatnot, but they won't really know that the mushrooms are there. So this is our nettle cappelletti with Seville sour orange gel, crispy capers, roasted hedgehog mushrooms, and buttermilk foam.
And that's going to do it for this episode from the Inn at Park Winters. Thanks for hanging with us. Remember, you can also find us online at CaliforniaBountiful.com. For now, I'm Aubrey Aquino. Take care, and we'll see you next time for more California Bountiful.